Live now, so we're live. Hello and welcome to Whose Opinion 31, Knock Knock First Thoughts. I'm your host, Louis Bean, and I'm here with Philip. What's up?
Good evening, Louis, and I'm all good, thank you.
So, Knock Knock, after all that hype, what did you think?
After all that hype, do you know what? It was kind of, I was hoping it would start off in a creepy kind of way, but it started off very light-hearted, didn't it? The music was very jaunty, as they were getting together to look for houses. That was kind of comical in some senses. But then I was quite glad that it started to turn in a darkish kind of way. And I can't say that word.
I can't say either.
The binaural audio was very effective, I thought, when you're watching it with headphones. It served its purpose. Capaldi was on top form as always. I did like how he was. It was interesting that he mentioned to her about Time Lords and regeneration.
Yeah.
I was like, yes. It's like it was almost like he actually knew what was coming. What was coming?
Oh, here comes Jack. Hey, Jack.
Hello, Jack.
Hey. What do you think
of Knock Knock?
Yeah.
I thought it was great. I loved it. Finally, an episode that lived up to the hype.
Oh, that's interesting.
That's very interesting.
Should I say what I thought?
Yeah, go on.
Well, I went into this thinking it was because it was so overhyped by all the media and by all the fans. I was like, this is my least anticipated episode, right? So I went into it thinking this is going to be bad. Like, not bad, but I just didn't have very high expectations. And I watched it, and it started really upbeat, and I was like, okay. Then we had some cool scenes. I watched the binaural version, the special sound. Have to say, apart from the scene with where they knocked on the door and all of that, I thought that was shit. I didn't see any difference.
Mm-hmm.
But in terms of story, I thought it was really creepy when that guy was stuck in the wood. I thought it was creepy when the guy who fancied Bill, but Shireen fancied him, when he kind of went missing in the thing. I thought that was creepy.
Yeah.
And then it got to the end, and I was like, okay. I thought this was probably the shittest episode I have seen in ages. No, I'm being serious. I thought this was abysmal. I'm sorry. I know you guys liked it, but I think even Listen was better than this. I mean, this was fucking, oh my, what was this? It was Attack of the Woodlice and an old fucking pedo guy who wants to fuck his mum. This was terrible.
But you know what?
They wasted David Suchet. I was like, what are you doing? And then they made Bill. I'm sorry, but Bill was just Clara in this episode. I actually didn't like Bill in this at all. She was like, oh, this is a part of my life where you're not in it, so get out. Like, what the fuck? You don't just he's not your slave. This is what Clara did. This is what Clara did. Do this for me, Doctor, but then fuck off. It really pissed me off. This episode, like, even the return of Dr. Mysterio was better than this. Well, I mean, I think this was terrible. I mean, do you know how bad this episode is? The best part about it was the Nardo scene. That's how bad this was.
Come on, Louis. I
hated it. 0 out of 10. I mean, this is. Do you have to admit that? I have to say, I've only seen it once. I might really like it on a second watch. But the first thoughts, wow, this was just what a week. It was just so. I mean, this is nothing new. I mean, this was just Pride Point 2.
I mean, I will say the resolution where we find out about the Wood Woman and Suchet, I thought that was a bit weak in the sense that, like, oh, okay, it's all about that kind of crap.
It was just like, well, okay, well, could you explain what the Woodlice things are? How did they get here? How did he know what was going on? Like, why did he have to kill them? Why every 20 years did they have to eat 6 people? Like, it just didn't make any sense.
They had to eat people to sustain his daughter's life. Because every time that they kill someone, you saw her glowing with fused energy.
But then, it's just so dumb. And like, the fact we have Harry Sullivan's grandson in this, although it's not, they cut that line out.
He had the best demise, I reckon, of the whole story. He had the best
It's
demise.
like, why Harry Sullivan's son instead of putting all these hints in? Grandson, sorry. Why didn't they just say it? It would have made the episode a bit more like, oh, that's cool.
A nice callback.
Yeah. I just don't get why they didn't do that. I mean, the end scene where we have Missy in the vault. Well, I'm saying it's Missy in the vault because no one else would. It's so clearly Missy in that vault, which is a shame because it would have been interesting to actually. It was so predictable. It's just the first choice. Just
well, maybe that's what we're meant to think.
Maybe
it's not Missy. It's actually the Sim Master.
Nah, it's Missy because she's an extremis, and all the pictures from extremis, she's in a cage.
Yeah, so, and like I said before we on air, there's a photo of her laying across something large. So that's a grand piano.
And the fact that it's like, oh, she's playing Beethoven or whatever, and then it's just like, oh, it's a story about kids getting eaten, and she's like, do 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 do. It's like, yeah, well,
yeah, very bonkers like her.
It's just like she likes eating people and all that shit. But I'm sorry for being a dad. I mean, like I said, I might rewatch this and really enjoy it, but so far this is the weakest for me, this series. I mean, Bill was really unlikable in this one, I have to say, which was a shame because I love Bill.
She wasn't very. You're right. She wasn't very out there.
She was very Clara.
I don't know.
In the sense, like, oh, drop me off, go away now. And then the fact that he was like, you're my grandfather. Like, he was like, oh, father, please. And she's like, no. She was just reminding me of Clara in The Caretaker when she doesn't want her friend, like, she doesn't want Danny to meet the doctor, and she's trying to lie.
I see your point. That's a good point.
And it's just like the woodlice things, they were cool. It was creepy, and like I liked the house eating people, but just maybe a bit more explanation. And like, how did the woman forget that was her son?
That's a good point as well.
What the fuck? It's just dumb. I mean, Jack, I know you liked it, so try to make me like it. Explain why you thought this was good.
Jack.
Oh, he might not be there. I mean,
I think you might have upset him because you panned the episode, basically.
Oh no, it's whose opinion, and that was just mine. I mean, Jack has his. Oh, he's on mute. Oh, he's back. I'm not having.
I don't know what happened there. Well,
hearing why you liked it. Like, I'm not having a go at anyone who did like it. By the way, it's just what I thought.
No.
Yeah. Okay.
Go on, Jack.
I think this is the first big difference we've had of an opinion of the new series of Doctor Who. Well, since series 8. But well, no, actually, yeah. So far, I think this is probably the biggest difference. Yeah. Doctor Who. I really loved this episode. You know, going into it, I was kind of like you. I thought, you know, it's going to be crap. It's going to be overrated. It's not going to be as good as everyone says. But I really enjoyed it. I mean, I think I disagree with you. I think David Suchet was used really well in this.
I said he was used well. I just said I didn't really get the ending where he was like, "Mummy," like it didn't. It was just a bit.
Well, you said he was wasted.
No, I didn't.
You did. Yeah, you did. You said he was wasted.
I said he's wasted in the story. I never said in the role. The story was he could have played, like, to have such a great actor. Like, this is one of the main things I like about this episode. What I meant was this, like, they could have used him in a better episode, like last week's or something.
Okay.
Well, I mean, I thought David Suchet was just great. I think he was really good in this. I mean, you know, David Suchet, you know, of course he played Poirot for years, and I used to watch him play Poirot, and he was great. And I think
he was very creepy in this.
Yeah, I think he really got that Philip vibe. I mean, Herbert the Perfect vibe.
Oh my god,
he's like Philip done right.
Oh my god, man, Philip vibe.
No, I mean, I thought David Suchet was just really good here. I thought the way, you know, I really like the start where you have the kids, Bill and her friends and all, and they go to the property people, and you know, and these property people are basically fucking them about, and then, you know, he's like, oh, are you looking for somewhere to stay? And then they go to this house, and you see that kid put on the record, and then you hear him screaming in the next door, I thought, right, that's a good start. Let's just see if it stays like this. And going into it, I was kind of like you. I thought, this episode's going to be crap. It's going to be another listen, overhyped to hell. But I was just really surprised by how good it was. I mean, this episode for me, it's what Doctor Who should be. It's it's a scary house, or well, not monsters, but a scary, spooky presence to it, and that's what I really liked about it. I mean, I thought Peter Capaldi was very good in this. Like when Bill and all arrived, and having all seeing all our friends, it kind of reminded me of Survival in that you saw all of Ace's friends in that story. It kind of reminded me of Survival, and it reminded me of Ghostlight as well because of the creepy sort of house. Yeah. Ghostlight. It reminded me of that, and I think the way they built up the tension in this was really good. Like, and there were some really funny lines where the Doctor's like, "Oh, is that Chinese? I love Chinese." And I thought the whole knocking on the wall and like David Suchet, when he's got the tuning fork, I thought that was really good. I just loved the whole atmosphere of it. For me, it got the atmosphere completely right.
I agree. It was like David Suchet was the best thing. And I agree, everyone was great in this. It's just the characterization of Bill, and it was just more the ending. It was more like Hyde for me. Like, okay, this is good, this is good, this is good, and then the ending's just like, ugh.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Ending in a minute. I mean, for Bill, for me, I didn't really hear her say that line where she said, "I don't really need you in my life, Doctor." I mean, I thought Bill, she was kind of a secondary character. She didn't annoy me too much. I just thought it was really interesting, the fact that that this house is like swallowing people up. Like, you have that kid who's in the wall and then they go in.
That was very creepy.
Yeah, that was really creepy, and I thought, all right, this is really good. And I just thought like the way
David in particular. Sorry, just wanted to say when that kid's in the wall, and David Suchet was just like, oh, he's been absorbed into the house forever. Like, that was really creepy.
Yeah. I do think David Suchet did carry across his character very well, because he had the right amount of creepiness to him.
And he was very creepy, and like when he's like crying, he was very childish. Like, like, I don't want to. We need to destroy them, and I was like, okay, this is creepy. But for me, it was just like, where did the space lice come from?
I don't know. I mean, that's the problem with having 45-minute stories. You can't really flesh it out.
Well, no, you could have put a line in there like, they're not even alien, they're from Earth, they're like an ancient species, or they might have been bacteria from a meteorite. Or just something, just to explain where I'm sick of it. It's like last week, we never know what the giant fish thing was. We don't know what this is. It just pisses me off.
For me, that didn't bother me as much, because, they're from space. That's all you really needed to know. I think this episode, it can suffer if you get bogged down in the details, and that's why I sort of forgave it, because I mean. But
then that's just like letting it get away. It's like they don't explain stuff. It's not a proper story.
Well, I mean, I think last week that for me personally was the worst episode, just because they explained nothing there.
But just like they did here.
No, I think that's different. I mean, last week they explained nothing while they had the creature or anything like that. I mean, they mostly explained everything here. The only thing they didn't explain was where the wood lice came from, and that was pretty obvious. It was outer space. And yeah, okay, they could have explained that, but apart from that, for me, that didn't really matter, because they explained everything else. And I just really liked everything about this. The pace, the tension built up. It just felt like Doctor Who. This whole episode for me, this is what Doctor Who should be. I mean, so far series 10, I've sort of been a little bit underwhelmed.
Really?
The pilot was well, yeah. I mean, the pilot was good. It was decent. Smile, I really liked. Thin Ice, I thought was mess. So so far series 10, I have enjoyed it, but there have been times it's been underwhelming. This for me is really the episode, I think, where they got everything right, where they just got everything right. And I just think the characters here were, I mean, you're saying like lack of character development, whatever. I mean, fair enough. But I like the characters here. Like I like the the bit where you got that really tall guy, and he's trying to hit on Bill, and then it turns out she basically says she's a lesbian, and he says,
A thing that annoyed me a bit there as well was when she's like, "Oh, I'm mostly into girls." It's like, so are you or are you not?
Good
Like,
point. Yeah, you're right.
well, I mean, that was just another small detail. I mean, for me, I thought the characters here were quite good. I just think it was nice to see that Bill had friends, and that I liked the way they interacted with the Doctor. I thought Peter Capaldi was great here, like the way he was sort of trying to figure out what was going on. For me, this episode, it just had a really kind of, I don't know, just a quality to it that made it really good. I mean, I thought I mean, one thing I did sort of groan at was when the lightning hit the castle at the start. I thought, okay, that's a bit cliche, but I just like the way they built up the tension, and with that scene where the kid gets swallowed up, and then they go in and they find him, and then David Suchet takes the record off, and then he gets swallowed in. He's like, oh, he's part of the house. He's like, he's like, you've paid. He's like, you signed a contract. It's time to pay. And then when they go in and the Doctor's explaining what's happening, and it turns out there's this bug that comes out, this wood lice, and I just thought it was really
that
creepy.
was
Like,
really cool.
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah.
I liked all of this. It's just a bit where it was just like, this is what actually is going on, and it's like his mum, but she forgot that she was his mum, and then she's
Yeah.
made of wood, and it's like, what the fuck is this shit?
The
Like,
other,
Doctor
the
Who
other,
villain of the week is someone's mum. Wow, that's scary.
the other problem that
no, I mean but the thing is, she isn't a villain. That's the whole point of it.
Well,
And
I know that's what I mean. It's just like such a. It was like hype,
the problem that I
creepy,
did,
creepy, and it's like this big balloon being blown up, full of tension, and it's just pop. That's it.
well, for me, it had the opposite. Sorry, Phil. Go ahead.
yeah, I was going to say that the only problem I did have was the resolution of the kids that were consumed by the wood lice thing were able to be reconstituted. That kind of spoiled it for me. It's like
Yeah.
no one dies at all.
Yeah.
Well, I suppose that the people before as they were running through the house, all those people that the house has consumed over the years, they were all going to be released, but that never came to fruition. So
Yeah,
Exactly.
I will admit I was disappointed with that, but I just think the episode itself, and I'll get to the ending and stuff, but I just think the way they built up the tension and the way they did end it, the way it did turn out what it was, I wasn't disappointed. I mean, this episode, like I said, reminded me of Ghostlight. It also reminded me a bit of The Shining, the fact that this house is kind of not what it seems to be. And that's what I really liked about it. I just thought David Suchet as well was great as this, creepy landlord. And I like the fact that the episode throughout, you sort of had clues, but it wasn't in your face. That's what I liked about the story. I mean, I wasn't expecting it to be this horrific kind of thing. And I think, the scene where they go into the basement and they're looking for the documents, 97, 1977, and they're going
Yeah.
through this all. And I thought that was really good. And, that scene where he's with that guy and, the Beatles come in and David Suchet is there and he's trying to plead with him. And then the Beatles, he runs up the stairs and the Beatles consume him. I just thought that was great. I mean, it was kind of horrific, but it was, the way they did it was really good. I'm like, yes, this is Doctor Who. This is what we're supposed to get. I mean, I just thought that was really good, and the fact that the Beatles devoured him, I just thought, right, this is Doctor Who. It's scary. It's doing its job right here. I thought, right, that's great. And the way they did the rest of the episode, like the Doctor, and then there's that girl who escapes, and then she goes outside, and then that tree, whatever, gets her, and then I just like the fact that nobody really escaped in this. Everybody sort of was a victim, and that's what I liked. And like the fact that that it wasn't overstated. I didn't think like the constant knocking, I didn't think it was overstated, like, oh, blink, or oh, it's the silence. I don't think it was overstated. And I think the fact that David Suchet, he was there but he wasn't there, made it better as well. Like, there's some scenes he wasn't in, and I kind of like that. You're like, okay, what's he doing? And when he found out it is his mother and she's made of wood, it didn't bother me. I wasn't like going, oh my god, this is absolute shit. I was kind of like, oh, this is interesting. And then when it turns out that he's actually, you think it's his mother, but it actually turns out, sorry, you think it's his daughter, but it's actually his mother. I thought that was really cool. It kind of added a sort of Norman Bates kind of thing to it, like Psycho. It kind of reminded me of Psycho, like Norman Bates. He sort of has a fascination with his mother. I kind of like that. He's this mummy's boy, and the fact that he's desperate. That's what I really liked about it. And when the doctor was, talking, and I thought it was just really creepy. Like, and you saw the flashbacks, and you saw her, and what I liked is they did explain it. I mean, you're saying they didn't explain where the wood lice came from and stuff like that.
Well, they didn't. They just said they're from space.
Yeah. They didn't explain that, but
they didn't explain why they're helping. They didn't explain why they didn't venture outside of that house.
Yeah, I'll admit they didn't explain where the wood lice came from, but apart from that, they explained everything else, and I think for the most part, I think it really worked well. I mean, I think and it was creepy seeing those flashbacks. She's in bed, and then the wood lice made her forget. Preserves, but it made her forget. I mean,
oh, did they actually say that?
Yeah, they did.
Oh,
they did actually.
Oh, okay, that makes more sense then, because I missed that. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't understand. I kind of agree with you. I didn't understand why she turned to wood, but I thought the visual design of her was great, and I just thought it was really. I thought it was really good. Like, it turns out it was his son. It was her son, and then he was looking after her, and he was basically he couldn't let go. He was still kind of like a child inside. He was still he was like a little boy, sort of crying out.
Well, again, we don't really have a villain. It's just another big.
But that's what I liked. That's what I liked about it. Unlike Listen, what I liked was, it. Well, there was a villain. David Suchet was a villain because he was trying to keep his mom alive.
He was a misunderstood. Like, he didn't. He wouldn't have done that. Like, I'm not saying he's not in the wrong. I'm just saying, like, it's a bit like the last 3 weeks. Like, Heather wasn't really a villain. She didn't really mean to kill anyone. She was just trying to get Bill. Just like the emoji bots were just a malfunction. Just like the big fish under the lake was only eating people because it was stuck there. And just like he was only getting the people to be killed to help his mum stay alive. So it's just like we haven't had a proper villain in series 10 yet.
Yeah, but I mean, what I liked about, if you're comparing this to Listen, I think the difference between this and Listen is that this is more of like, okay, it's not a villain, it's it's someone who's desperate, and that's what I liked about it.
Yeah, well, at least in this one we find out what the villain is.
Not only that, but Listen was just like a whole build up, and it turned out to be nothing. That's why I hated that, because it was like, oh, we're building up, and then it turned out to be nothing. At least, yeah, like you said, at least there was something, and I just liked the fact.
At least it didn't shit on the continuity.
Yeah, exactly. And what I liked about it was just that he was basically this Norman Bates kind of character. He was attached to his mum, and on the flashback scenes were creepy, and he was basically he was desperate. He didn't want to let go, and he was still kind of like a little boy inside. And I thought David Suchet played it really brilliantly. I mean, he never really gets angry or chews the scenery. He always sort of underplays it, and he's really, really good. And I thought the design of the mother, even though I didn't understand why they turned her into wood, I guess wood lice, but I just thought that was really creepy. And the fact that he was sort of luring these people in so he could take their life force, their life energy, I just thought that was really cool. He was preserving his mum. I just thought it was kind of like a sick, sort of demented child who sort of he didn't want to let go. And that's what I liked about it, was that the thing that was supposed to be so horrible wasn't actually the monster. It was the guy who was helping, this creature was actually the monster. That's what I liked about it.
What I was going to say was maybe the reason I'm not that like amazed by this is because the whole beetles consuming people. I've seen that before, like literally exactly the same technique. Like it looked exactly the same. It's been done before in Primary elsewhere.
Yeah, it's been done in many sort of horror.
Like The Mummy as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking The Mummy, but
the
I don't know.
Scarab.
Yeah, I mean, I just thought and I thought the scenes between him and his like David Suchet and his mom was really good. Like when she was sort of like, she's like, hello, I don't get many visitors, and I just loved the design of her, and I just, you know, it was.
I
just
like
thought the
Shireen. I
sequence-
mean, I like Bill's friends. Bill's friends are pretty cool.
Yeah, I thought they were cool. I just thought the way they explained what was going on, and that's what I liked about it, was that it wasn't a creature or an alien. I mean, I think I would be more disappointed if it was just a house consuming people, just being pretty like predictable, to be
Well, no,
honest.
I'm not saying. I never said it should be that. I'm just saying. I just wish we like just had a bit more time to explain what actually was going on. I mean, it was just a bit like Hyde, like haunted house, scary, but it's just all about love and emotions. And
Well, I think what distinguishes it from Hyde, and I actually enjoyed Hyde until the ending. I didn't think the ending for this was tacked on like Hyde. Hyde was like, oh, you got this creature, oh, and it's just looking for its mate. That was tacked on. What I liked about this was they never said that, you know, the thing consuming these people is evil. They never said it was like a evil being or, you know, something getting after you, and that's what I liked. You know, the reveal, and I just thought, you know, the look was really good.
do you think they should have kept in? Do you think they should have kept the Harry Sullivan reference in?
To be honest, I'm kind of glad they didn't. It's pointless.
Yeah, it doesn't really add to the story at all.
That's just kind of continuity for the sake of it.
I mean, so far in all the episodes we've seen so far, all we've come across is unfortunate events.
Yeah,
Not
that's what I
really-
mean. And
yeah.
apparently next week is about spacesuits that go wrong. So it's going to be another.
Unfortunate event. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind them. I think they're one of the best type of stories because you can't really put the blame on anyone in particular. But I am getting a bit bored of it now.
Maybe if
episodes
this was
in.
at the start of the series or in.
No, I think it's positioned well. I think I'm just getting a bit bored of haunted house stories as well. I mean, this is like the fifth in a row.
Well, fourth.
Actually, no, it's sixth. If you go all the way back from series 6 onwards, there's always been a ghost story.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Even,
I can understand.
even back to
Sorry, go on.
even back to series 1 with The Unquiet Dead. That was kind of
No, yeah, but I mean, like in a row. I mean, every series we've had a ghost story since series 6. I'm not sure about series 5. I can't remember one in series 5.
Yeah. No, but I
Okay,
mean,
yeah,
for me,
In from series 6 onwards, it's just like, yeah, I get it. It's a cool trope. You can do that horror kind of ghost. There's lots of like possibilities, like how you can explain ghosts in this universe, but it's just a bit like give it a rest.
yeah.
Okay.
I mean, for me, the episode, I can understand where you're coming from. Like, you were going to think or maybe you were thinking there was going to be some kind of monster or something. I don't know, but I can understand.
No, I didn't think there was gonna be some kind of monster. I just thought there'd be a bit more like build up in tension. Like I kind of liked I liked how creepy he was, and even his mum looked scared of him at one point when she was like hugging him and just like he was like, I don't want to die kind of thing, and she's like, it's time. That was good. It was just I wish we had more time to develop it. Like another rushed ending.
For me, I didn't think it was because I mean I felt
And I
like
don't think. Sorry, I was going to say as well before I forget. I think it would have been nice to have seen a bit more Peter Capaldi. He wasn't really in this one as much.
It's true. I was going to say that he wasn't very instrumental.
Yeah, he literally just popped up in a cupboard, went off with Harry, and then met up with Bill at the end.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know what you mean. He wasn't hugely in this one, but I just think for me, I like the fact that it was sort of I can understand you getting bored of this sort of storyline, but I like the fact it was a misunderstanding, and I think they explained it well. I like the flashbacks, you know, and I just think he was really good and she was really good in the design, and I just thought it was really cool. Like you saw the flashbacks, like it was his son, and you see his son slowly grow up, and you see the Beatles, and you know her arms turning to like wood, and when she's talking to him, it's really good. She's just like, you know, oh, you know, all this time, all these years, you've been bringing these people here, and you know, you've been using them. And he's like, you know, oh, we must continue on. And I just thought that was really good. And I mean, I can understand you saying it's a little bit rushed, and I think maybe the ending was a tad bit rushed.
Yeah.
But I just thought the story,
Go.
even though it did.
No, go on.
Sorry.
Sorry, Jack. Carry on, sir.
even though it was building up the tension, I liked the fact that it was something different, and I thought, David Suchet was great, and I thought the look
That's
of
the thing. I don't think it was different. I think it was just kind of, oh, we've seen that
no,
before.
but I mean,
I didn't come away from this thinking, oh, that was a new contribution to the show. I just kind of felt, oh, that's just another, yeah, been there, done that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how you feel, Philip, because
Well,
me and Jack have been talking a lot. I'll let you speak.
yeah, no, that's fine. It's fine. The only problem, I mean, going by the age of what Suchet was playing, so let's call it say 60 years. I had a problem with, so throughout the 60 years, well, let's call it 50 because he's only a little kid, about 7 then. So let's call
I
it
think
50
they said
years.
it was 70.
Oh, 70 years. Okay, well, all that time he's luring these people into that house to keep his mother alive and everything. So how is it that no one's ever realised that these people have gone missing all those centuries and
true.
years?
Maybe it's because they said there was a 20-year gap in between each one.
Good point. Good point. Yeah, you're right.
Although
I
that
think-
still wouldn't explain.
Yeah, it wouldn't explain, but I do agree with mostly what Jack has been saying. Yeah, I mean, I liked it. I thought it was a nice little kind of like callback to old Doctor Who, where it's all creepy and you've got the effects are better and stuff like that. But I do think that Bill, as you say, was a little bit lackluster in this one.
It's just a shame because it's the first time I kind of felt a bit. Apart from the scene where she was in the TARDIS and the scene where she was with her mum's picture,
Yeah.
and maybe the end scene. Apart from that, like the bit where she was like, "Oh, you don't have to be here. Go. This is my part of my life without you." And I was just kind of like, "What the fuck? Like, don't treat him like that. You're not Clara. Like, you were supposed to be the kind, compassionate one that was there for everyone. Don't be like this." It just felt like Clara 2.0. And I said that when I was watching. I was like, "Oh, for fuck's sake, here we go again." But I don't know. Like, it wasn't a bad episode. It just wasn't great. It was just very, nah. I don't know. I just prefer the pilot. So far, the way I'd rank this would be Smile was my favorite so far. I just thought it was really original, and I really liked the chemistry in that one. And the villains are probably the best villains we've got so far, in my opinion. Then I'd put Thin Ice because I thought that was again pretty cool. The monster was cool, bit rushed. Then I'd put the pilot. Great introduction story for Bill, but again, bits and bobs that I wasn't really like a massive fan of. It was a bit slow, but it was understandable because it was an introduction story. And then I'd put this because it was just same old, not really anything I've seen, nothing new. I mean, David Suchet saves the episode, and the performances are great, but it's just the poor characterization of Bill and just the kind of haunted house kind of nah.
Yeah. Well, for me personally, I'll quickly run down. I would say Thin Ice is still my number one. I would put this at number 2, Knock Knock. I'll put Smile would be my least favorite one, and Pilot would be the third one in a row for me.
That's fair enough.
Yeah. What about you, Jack?
No, he's on.
Oh, he's away again. But I mean, the last 2 minutes.
Can you hear me?
Yeah,
we
we can hear you now.
You're on mute.
All right. I just thought, just to wrap up my thoughts, I thought that the way they did explain it, I thought they explained it well, and he was trying to preserve her and all that stuff. I just thought it was really good, the fact that he was just sort of this kid who didn't want to let go, and he sort of become twisted by his own
Need to save
he
his mother.
became twisted by his own power of wanting to keep his mum alive. And I thought that scene was good, where sorry, not Pearl, Bill's friend is killed, and then she sort of she basically talks to him and says, you've been doing this all these years, you never told me, and he's just like, we can't stop now, we got to keep going, like, he's like, no, mummy, and when she's just like, it's time to let go or whatever, and then she grabs him and they die, and then the Beatles, or sorry, the Woodlice, whatever, leave. I mean, one thing I will say is, I think the ending, was slightly rushed. I didn't like the fact that all her friends came back to life. It was kind of like,
I think it would have
Yeah.
been better if they're going to have everyone live, have anyone who was ever killed by that house, they all
Yeah,
come
I
back.
was thinking
Yeah.
that as well. Like, why aren't all the other people from the 70s and 90s alive as well? I didn't get that. But apart from that, I just thought it was a really, really good episode. For me, this is what Doctor Who should be. I mean, and I'm going to be honest. You may tell me to fuck off, Louis, but
Well, it's your
um,
opinion. I don't care. I'm
but,
glad you enjoyed it.
this episode kind of reminded me a bit of Horrifying Rock.
No, it reminded me of it a bit. It was very slow paced.
Yeah,
Oh, you mean in
no,
the sense that when you say about Horrifying Rock, are you talking about the fact that they're all trapped in one location and they're slowly being picked off one by one? Kind of
yeah,
thing? Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I wouldn't say it's as good as Horrifying Rock, but
No way, nowhere now. Nowhere now. I must admit.
no, it's not as good as Horrifying Rock, but I still thought it was a really good episode. For me, this episode, it was building up the tension, but it paid off. I just liked it. It was like a Norman Bates kind of psycho thing. He's basically this tortured kid who just wants his mum to live, and he's sort of become corrupt, and he's done this all for his own ends. And I think, yeah, you could have explained where the woodlice came from. They said it was from space, but that was a minor nitpick for me. Bill, um, I didn't really hear her say that line because my parents. Well,
I urge you to rewatch. I urge you to rewatch it and then just see what you think of Bill.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I mean, but for me anyway, she wasn't that much in the episode. She wasn't featured that much in the episode, so I wasn't like I wasn't pissed off or anything with her. But for me, the episode was just like, this is what Doctor Who should be. There are people getting picked off. You've got a horror feel here. You've got a creepy guy. You've got, this interesting concept. I just thought it was really well done, and I thought they explained it really well, apart from maybe the woodlice. And I just thought it was like, this is what Doctor Who should be. We've got Doctor Who, this is. I'm going to be honest, this is probably one of my favorite Capaldi episodes. Like you were saying, Smile is one of your favorites. I'd say this is one of my favorites now.
Fair
I
enough.
I think I would take it over Hyde or Listen any day. I mean,
Oh yeah, I would take this over Hide or Listen, but
Yeah.
I
no, but I
still
mean, I
think
would take this over a lot of. I would also take this over a lot of other Capaldi stories. Well, especially from Series 9. I just think that
I would take
for
this
me,
over the finales and Listen, but that's probably about it. I don't think it's as good as others, but that's your opinion, and I respect that.
okay, and just to finish off, I just thought this is Doctor Who back. I liked that it wasn't. I thought it was going to be a house killing people. It was going to turn out to be like some kind of alien house that was killing people. But I'm kind of glad that it wasn't, because I think that would have been more predictable if it was like, oh, this house is killing people. I just thought it had that really creepy horror element. David Suchet was great, and I just love the whole, the mother son relationship, and I thought it was just really well done.
Do you?
And so far, um, out of Series 10, I'm actually going to say it's my favorite of Series 10 so far, even better than Smile. And I really like Smile, just because this is the first episode in the series where it just really struck a chord with me, and it just really made
Mm-hmm.
me go, "This is actually quite good." And
No,
I
I'm
mean,
happy you feel
I
that.
would definitely take it over. I would definitely take it over Thin Ice. For me, Thin Ice, that's the worst of the series. I mean, sorry, sorry, Philip,
Oh,
but I mean,
oh
I
man.
can, I can see why you think that. I think Thin Ice has been overrated.
for me, Thin Ice was the weakest because they didn't explain anything. It was just like, oh, we've got this creature under the lake, and we need to use its shit for fuel. And they didn't really
I,
explain. They didn't really explain where that came from. They didn't explain really why they were keeping it there and stuff like that.
yeah, but don't you think, Jack, that Thin Ice was the best story that has Capaldi and Pearl Mackie interacting as companion and doctor? That's the best story.
I will agree with that. Yeah, I'll agree
Actually, I
with
would
that.
say that was Smile.
You
I
think
thought
that's smart? Oh,
I thought they
okay.
bounced off each other a lot better in Smile. In Thin Ice, it felt very forced. Like one minute she was angry at him, the next minute she was happy with him. Like I don't really believe in real life you'd be pissed, like really angry, and then just be smiling.
For me, yeah, for me, Thin Ice was just the worst. Not, I mean, just because I just thought they could have done so much more with the setting. I mean, I thought the costumes were good, and I actually agree with Philip. I think that might be Bill and the Doctor's best interaction, just because, because the way the Doctor's acting and stuff. But for me, Thin Ice was the worst, just because they never really explained what was going on. They didn't explain why this creature was there, who kept it there, how did it get there. They didn't really explain anything in that episode for me. I mean, I don't hate Thin Ice. I think Thin Ice is actually a decent episode. It's not bad. I think it's actually good. It's not bad. But I just think for me, that was like, for me, that was more underwhelming because they didn't really say anything about that creature and they never really explained anything about it.
You could say the same thing about this one tonight. They didn't really explain where those creatures come from or how they got the. Or did they? If they did, I'm sorry, I didn't listen properly about it.
Well, for me, that was different because they explained everything else. He basically said they were from outer space. So, like, I can understand Louis' problem with that, but for me, it was a minor nitpick. And some of the criticisms, I think, Louis, I mean, I can understand why, but I just think some of the criticisms for me, they're kind of just like minor details for me. Like, I mean, yeah, they could have explained where the lice came from, but it doesn't really matter because they explained why they were doing it and they explained what was going on. And for me, Thin Ice was, you just could have done so much more of that. But I mean, for me, this is the best just because it sort of got that classic Who feel. It had the tension, and I thought it was a good twist, and I just thought it had all the right elements there. And so far, if I were to rank Series 10, I would say this at the top. Then after, I'd say Smile because I was really surprised by that, and then I would say the pilot, and then Thin Ice, and I'd say the pilot would be second to last because it was just really an episode where you were setting it up and stuff like that.
Do you think that Doctor Who suffers too much on reliance on tugging on your heartstrings in regard to this episode with the mother and the son, so to speak? And do we really need that kind of emotional attachment to the story?
It made me laugh. It didn't make me cry. I was just like, really? Like, if I was to show someone this episode, like, if this was to be an introduction episode, I'm not saying it would be, but say if, like, you had a friend round and they're like, oh, show me this show you like. And I'd be like, oh, yeah, tonight. I'd be like, this is a really good episode to show them up until that point, and they'll be like, fucking hell, how embarrassing. Like, so sorry, I normally like this.
I disagree. I think
in wooden people and wood lice, it's just like, oh, cringy, man.
Well, it's Doctor Who. I mean, you've had stupider stuff than that. I mean, at least it wasn't the fucking Candyman.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but at least that was funny. I mean, this is just like something really stupid, playing it serious. Whereas at least the Candyman, it's kind of played for laughs. Whereas you have like a fucking hugging her 70-year-old son, but she's made of wood and she's got cockroach wood lice hanging out of her nose, and it's just like. Anyway, we agree to disagree, but let's talk about something a bit more fun. What did you think of the vault scene? I mean, I really laughed when it was like dun 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 dun, like, and then it just changed to.
You know what? Out of all the episodes, that was the most memorable part for me of it. To be honest, that's the segment.
Same. This was my favorite bit.
Yeah.
I like how Nardole comments on the episode, kind of like, "Oh, I spoke to Bill and she told me what was going on," and he's like, "See, you don't have to go afterward."
Louis, you know the way you gave this episode a 0. I'm gonna give it.
I was joking, Jack.
Oh, I'm gonna give it 9 though.
If I had to. Oh, cool. If I had to give it a rating now from first view, I'd probably give it a 5.
I gave it an 8 on
maybe
first view.
A 4.
Can I ask, do you really think it's better than Thin Ice? Because I thought this explained more than Thin Ice did.
It was a lot more involved.
I think it's better than Thin Ice. I think the reason I think it's better than Thin Ice because although Thin Ice wasn't explained, you kind of got the gist of what was going on. It didn't really need to tell you if that creature, like, you just wanted to know if the creature was alien or not, but you didn't really need to know.
Do you think this is worse than Thin Ice, do you mean, or better than Thin Ice?
This is worse, in my opinion.
Well, I mean, for me, actually, I think Thin Ice was explained less. I got more what was going on in this because they explained that they were trying to preserve his mum, these woodlice, and he was doing this, to basically keep his mum alive. And that's why I liked
No, I
it.
get it. I get it. I get what you're saying. I just think this was. I think Thin Ice, although they didn't explain everything, and I'm still annoyed they didn't explain everything. Bill's characterization was strong. It developed her. This just felt like we've took 2 steps back with Bill.
Yeah,
I
agree
can
with
understand what you mean. I
It's
can
like
understand
after-
what you mean about her characterization, but for me, it's only 1 episode, and she wasn't really that central to the episode.
Yeah, but I just feel like after
Yeah.
3 really strong episodes of Bill, it shouldn't just go back to being like generic Clara-like companion. And I mean, I know Thin Ice was weird and wacky, and didn't like you had elephants and geese with giant monsters from the episode's main plot was they would take the villain of the episode was using the monster's shit for fuel. That's weird and that's random, but it worked for Doctor. It was a bit of fun. Whereas this was like a creepy old pedo guy who has like an obsession with his mum, turning people into woodlight. It's like what? Like it's nah. But let's just talk about the vault now because we're just gonna go around in circles. I mean, that scene was that scene really made me laugh where it was just like pop goes the weasel.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so clearly Missy.
When I heard that, you're going, Jack.
Would you rather have had instead of that creepy old Peter? Would you have rather had Philip wanking over you instead?
You can't say that.
Well, that happens a lot. So.
Oh my God, Jack, you had to ruin it, don't you?
Please don't remind me of that, Jack.
Oh.
But wouldn't that be just great though if like Philip going like I'm here?
This episode David Suchet reminded instead of his mum, it was Connor, made of wood.
Oh, don't
It turns
do that.
out Philip is keeping Connor preserved up there for him to wank over.
Oh my God.
Anyway,
God,
back to the vault.
Yes, back to the vault, please. Let's get away from.
If Philip, you start singing, it should have been me.
Let's get away from Connor and his wood. Right, let's move on.
I put my life on it that it's Missy in the vault, and I mean I'm cool with that. I mean we find out what's in the vault. If it was, I thought it was going to be revealed in episode 11 or something, like the big build-up of this series. So I'm a bit disappointed it's not that. And I mean, it's very predictable that it's Missy. Like, that's everyone's first. And I mean, like, before I would...
What if, Louis, it's, you know that woman's playing that mystery character? What if it's her?
We would have seen something she would have been in the episode, like, they would have announced her in, what's it? The free Mummy episodes. I mean, this is so clearly Missy because how else will she fit in? She'll be the one in this episode in Extremity.
Oh, yeah,
she'll get out and then she'll fuck off and then she'll come back in the finale.
Here, Philip. The episode should have been you, and like Connor comes in, you're like, I had the time.
Philip could have said, "Hey kids, want someone to live?
He lures Bruian. He lures Bruian with Connor.
Popsicle, Connor.
Do you want to see my big finish?
I know what boys like. I know what boys like.
Come on, lad.
Boys like.
Louis. Philip lures you upstairs. He takes his dick out and says, "How's this for a big finish?"
Oh my God. Enough. Come on.
Philip, you just need to be like a
YMCA is what it's
you need to be like in the Navy.
Oh my God.
In the Navy.
Oh, Connor, you're so fine. You blow my money, Connor.
Oh God. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been a production from the Brewery Show. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.
No, he could have preserved.
Can you
He
not
could have
mention brewery in that way? Jesus Christ.
He could have preserved Connor like Connor's Wood, like Philip of Connor's Wood.
Oh, I don't want to think about Connor's Wood.
Oh, I better not say that. Anyway, enough of that. Oh,
Philip,
God,
you
I'm
could be
blushing.
like, Philip,
You're making me blush. Stop it.
Philip, be like,
You're black. We can't see.
Oh no, that's true.
Philip, be like, I just looked at my ginormous penis.
Oh god, Jack's obsessed with penises.
Oh God,
God.
Jack. You need to
No,
be
no, no,
sorted.
no, 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 no. At the end, the Doctor should have encountered Philip, and then Philip played Pressure Zone. I wanna put it in my ass.
Oh well.
They could
that
have
was our
had you. They
fault.
could have had you in the house instead of calling him like her son. It'd be like Uncle Ben. It's Philip.
Oh my God.
Right, I think we've said all we need to say.
I think so too. We do so well as well. Oh dear.
Looking forward to next week. That's my most hyped episode. So.
Oxygen.
Philip knows what you like.
Shut the fuck up. Right. Now I've had the podcast of my life, and I owe it to you.
I've been waiting for so long.
Just remember.
Let me tell you something.
I can't live without. So I'll tell you something. Listen to me.